Good day. I'm Somerset Elsid Siang, President and CEO of Advanced Infinite Technology Solutions Incorporated. Before we begin with our discussion about the current and future trends in healthcare informatics, let me give you a brief background about our company. At Infinite Solutions, we have been developing many different information systems for healthcare solutions. One example of these are laboratory information systems, healthcare information systems, and hospital information systems. So throughout our journey now with the company, we have experienced a lot of trends in the information technology sector. So we are going to share to you about our insights on the current and future trends in healthcare informatics. Healthcare informatics is an interdisciplinary field that combines information technology and healthcare at the same time. It is transforming the way we understand, manage, and deliver healthcare services. Currently, healthcare informatics encompasses a range of technology and practices aimed at enhancing patient care, improving clinical outcomes, and reducing the healthcare cost. The future of healthcare informatics holds a promising advancement, including the integration of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and big data analytics, which we will be discussing later. These are expected to further revolutionize the industry. These trends not only improve the efficiency and effectiveness of healthcare systems, but also gives a more personalized and optimized patient care on a level never been seen before. As we continue to witness rapid technological evolution, staying abreast of these trends is crucial for healthcare professionals and organizations striving to deliver or lead in this dynamic landscape. So what are the current technologies in healthcare informatics? So first, we are going to discuss about telemedicine. Telemedicine refers to the use of digital communication technologies such as video conferencing, mobile applications, and remote monitoring tools to deliver healthcare services effectively and remotely. So this approach allows the patients to consult with healthcare providers without the need for in-person visits, making healthcare more accessible and convenient. Telemedicine is particularly beneficial for individuals in rural and underserved areas. Those people with mobility issues and during situations where limiting physical contact is necessary, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. There are actually 5 identified key advantages of telemedicine. The first one is increased access to care. Patients can receive medical consultations and follow-ups from the comfort of their homes, reducing travel time and associated cost because since it is online, so there is no need to physically go to the doctor's offices to have patient consultations. The second one is it is very convenient and flexible. Scheduling is more flexible and wait times can be reduced, improving the overall patient experience. Third is its cost effectiveness. Telemedicine can lower or actually lowers the healthcare cost by reducing the need for physical infrastructure and enabling more efficient resource utilization. Another advantage is continuity of care. So remote monitoring and virtual consultation helps maintain ongoing care for chronic conditions and post-surgical follow-ups. So after you have already been hospitalized and you already went home, so you can continue having medical consultations at the comfort of your home. And the last one is it also helps enhance collaboration. Healthcare providers can easily consult with specialists and share patient information in real time, improving diagnosis and treatment plans. So overall, as the telemedicine now continue to advance, it is expected that this will play an important and significant role in healthcare delivery, contributing to a more efficient, effective, and uh, patient-centered or personalized healthcare. The next trend in healthcare informatics are mobile health applications. So mobile phone health applications, or mHealth apps for short, are designed to help users manage their health and wellness directly from their mobile phones or smartphone. So I have compiled a couple of popular and useful mobile apps now for consumer health informatics. So the first one, we have what we call the MyFitnessPal. So this is actually a nutrition, no, and fitness tracking. So you just need to download this one on your mobile phone. Then you can do calorie counting, um, log your food diary, exercise, and progress of your exercise, no, anytime at the comfort of your fingertips. Next is we have also another popular mobile application, what we call the Headspace. So the purpose of Headspace is for mental health and mindfulness. So the features of Headspace are guided uh, meditation sessions, mindful exercises, sleep aids, and stress management technique. So all in all, the purpose of Headspace is for your the health, no, of our minds. The next we have Flow. Okay, so this is actually a women's health, no, and menstrual cycle tracking. So it features period tracking, ovulation predictions, symptoms logging, and fertility insights. So these are actually useful, no, to women who wants to monitor their menstrual cycle. Another one, no, one popular mobile application is what we call the Nike Training Club. So this is actually a fitness and exercise guidance. So it features custom workout plans, guided exercise routines, and personalized fitness recommendations that is tailored, no, to each individual who is using this application. Okay. Another one is the one that I personally use, no, is the Sleep Cycle mobile application. So the purpose of this one is to track sleep and improvement. Okay, so this application features analysis of your sleeping pattern. It has a smart alarm clock, and then it gives you a report, no, about the quality of your sleep and personalized recommendation for better sleep based on your previous history of sleep cycles. So these mobile health applications actually empowers users not take control of their health and wellness by providing convenient access to health information, tracking capabilities, and the most important one is the personalized recommendations. So since most of the people nowadays use a smartphone, so mobile application or health apps, no, are actually very useful. Okay. So these mobile apps covered a wide range of health aspects from physical fitness, nutrition, to mental health and chronic disease management. Another trend, no, in um, consumer health informatics are wearable devices or health devices, okay, that are meant to be worn on our body parts. So one of the most popular is actually the Apple Watch. You know, if you have used this one, this is actually a not just a watch, but it's a comprehensive health monitoring tool. Okay, so most health features of Apple Watch or any other, no, now that wearable watches are they can track our physical activity. okay, our health rate, ECG, blood oxygen levels, and even our sleep patterns. It also integrates other health applications, no, to give us a holistic view, no, of our being or health, the state of our health. And then there are actually many different wearable applications, no, which I will be showing to you. There are many wearable health applications that are available on the market. No? So um, there are actually, if you are going to mention them one by one, no, it would take us at least forever, no, to discuss everything. But let's just summarize everything, no, according to where we wear them and their purpose. So the most popular wearable application are, of course, the smartwatch, because those are very affordable, no, and easily worn, no, on our wrist. Okay, so it has many functions, uh, just like what I have mentioned earlier about the Apple Watch. So it also boasts, or smart watches also boasts, many different healthcare integration na mga applications and purposes. Okay. But there are other, no, mga wearable devices such as the headbands, no. So have if you have seen wearable headbands, no, they are actually just like a ano lang, a fabric lang, na soft fabric worn on our head, no, which whose purpose actually is to monitor our brain waves directly. So it provides no more detailed picture of our sleep stages, like the light, deep, and REM na mga patterns. So these wearable headbands, no, aims to enhance the quality of our sleep, also aids meditation, and even boosts concentration by providing insights, no, into our brainwaves and sleep patterns. Another wearable application are smart earrings, no, which are tiny jewelries that are worn on our ears, no, as a ano lang siya, parang maliit lang siya na ano, jewelry, no. The purpose of these earrings are actually to help, no, measure and monitor the body temperature. Okay, so no, think of it as a small, no, tiny earrings that are stylish, but has the purpose of a thermometer, okay, that measures our body temperature and constantly communicates with a mobile application to parang log, no, our the temperature of our body all throughout the day. Okay, another one are what we call the patches. No, these are just like small patches lang that can be stick, no, to any parts of our body. But most of the time, no, these patches are worn, no, at the upper arm. So actually these are wireless na glucose monitors. So imagine, no, a small patch, no, in your arms that gives you continuous and painless insight about your blood sugar level. So that's what wireless glucose monitors offers, or patches. So this brilliant technology allows for better management of diabetic na mga patients, no, which is obviously its primary purpose. Another one is the smart tattoo. So have you seen a smart tattoo before, or a wearable na tattoo? So actually this is a new trend, no, a revolution in monitoring our vital signs. So imagine, no, your skin of your body does not just serves, no, as a parang or sorry the a tattoo on your skin does not just serve as, or to give us its aesthetic na parang, or visually appealing lang siya, no, but it also gives us further improved, no, na healthcare um, by providing us insights about what is happening about our body, no. So the skin is actually the largest organ, no, but aside from that, no, it also dynamically displays the monitoring of our health. So imagine, so anywhere in our skin, we could put a tattoo that has a sensor built in on it, and then it could monitor different it could monitor different na mga health issues, no, like ECG and many more. Okay. So another purpose of of smart patches are also to monitor blood pressure level and vital signs. No. So another one is we have a belt sensor worn on your waist. So most belt sensors uh, are used to monitor ECG rhythms, or it gives us insight for a likely heart failure, no. And then unlike bulky na mga heart monitor, so belts are offers a non-invasive way, no. It doesn't need any surgery to put inside our body, so we just wear it around our waist, and it monitors in real time, no, um our heart our ECG. So we also have what we call the smart cloth, no, or a wearable clothes that has a function, no, just like the other devices before, to monitor our vital signs. Okay. So smart clothing may not be the future, no, of fashion, but smart clothing, no, could be relevant, no, in healthcare, in delivering healthcare um, to the patients, because you could wear it, no, continuously, no, during your hospital stay. So other wearable technologies, or example of other wearable technologies, are smart socks, no, that are worn on our feet, smart necklaces, no, which has a primary use, no, of detecting falls, no, matumba yung patient, they could detect those one. And we also have what we call the smart glasses, no, which helps people, no, with low vision aids, and also tests, no, our eye vision. So smart glasses, no, have the potential to transform vision care and assist multiple patients. No, for those who have low visions, specialized smart glasses could be a powerful, no, assistive tool. These glasses uses cameras, augmented reality, and magnification, no, to enhance the wearer's visual field and improve their ability to navigate, no, their daily tasks. So all in all, these wearable health applications paired with their respective devices, no, in most cases, wearable devices paired with a smartphone offers us valuable health data, no, and insights, no, helping patients make informed decisions about their fitness, wellness, and their overall health, no. As technology advances, wearable devices are becoming more sophisticated, no. It offers deeper insights and has greater accuracies over time in health monitoring. The next big revolution in healthcare, no, informatics, is the use of artificial intelligence and machine learning in healthcare for the purpose of diagnosis and treatment decision making. Okay. Artificial intelligence, or AI, and machine learnings are revolutionizing the healthcare by enhancing diagnostic accuracy, giving a more personalized mga treatment plans, and thus, no, improves patient outcomes. So the use of these technologies leverage vast amount of data to identify trends and patterns and make predictions, thereby supporting healthcare professional in their decision-making processes. So there are many applications in diagnostics and treatments using machine learning and artificial intelligence. So the first one is the use of AI and ML in medical imaging analysis. So imagine, no, an AI algorithm that can be used, no, to analyze X-rays, CT scans, MRIs, and other mga imaging, no, na modalities to detect anomalies, no, such as tumors, fractures, and infections with high accuracy. So when we say machine learning, no, and artificial intelligence, most of the time we just tend to parang interconnect them, no, but AI and machine learning has a, or although they are similar, but they have a different purpose, no. When we say machine learning, so machine learning is a part of an artificial intelligence, no, that is able to gather and learn, no, or gather data and learn from the data that it gathers. So as time goes by, no, the predictions that are being given by a machine learning, no, na system is parang expected, no, to increase in accuracy. So as the machine learns, no, over time, so its mga decision making na mga predictions are getting more and more accurate. Okay. So another one is in predictive analysis, the use of AI in predictive analysis. So AI systems now can actually predict the likelihood of developing conditions such as diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, and cancer based on patient data. Okay, gathered patient data, enabling, no, early intervention. Okay, so it is also used, no, for genomic analysis. No, AI actually can analyze genomic data, no, to identify mutations and biomarkers associated with a specific disease or diseases. No, giving a guided and personalized na mga treatment plans and disease prediction. Okay, we also have one of the subdomain of artificial intelligence, which is the natural language processing. So NLP, no, for short, can extract meaningful information, no, from unstructured data in uh, healthcare information systems, such as yung mga clinical notes, no, to support in clinical decision making and of course, no, improve patient care. Okay, so when we say natural language processing, so this type of systems processes data, no, based on written or oral na mga communication data, and then they give their parang predictions, no, out of those na mga data being gathered. Okay. So another purpose, no, of AI and machine learning is it's used, no, for treatment decision making na mga applications. No, so first is AI, no, being used by a healthcare professional or healthcare na information system could provide better treatment recommendations. No, so what we call these things as clinical decision support systems or CDSS. AI driven na mga CDSS can provide evidence-based treatment recommendations. Considering patient-specific na mga factors such as age, medical history, and genetic information. Okay, so it is also AI is also being used, no, nowadays for precision medicine. No, it helps design individualized mga treatment plan based on the patient's genetic na makeup, no, lifestyle, environmental factors, no, thus optimizing therapeutic na mga outcomes. Okay. So AI is also used, no, in robotics and automation. Okay, AI-powered robots can assist surgeons in performing precise and minimally invasive na mga procedure, no, reducing recovery times and improving surgical outcomes. Less less human factor na mga errors, no, when we use robotics, when we combine robotics and AI in doing surgeries. Okay, so AIs are also used, no, as a virtual health assistant. No, this health assistant can monitor patients' vital signs and symptoms remotely, no, alerting healthcare providers on any concerning na mga changes. No, just like what we discussed before, no, using or combining, no, the use of wearable health technologies and mobile application, it could be used, no, to send information to an artificial intelligence based na system online or at the cloud, no, to help, no, in assisting our or assisting and monitoring in real time, no, uh, our parang health, no, health being. Okay, so another domain in health informatics is the use of big data, no, in healthcare and predictive analytics. Big data in healthcare, no, refers to we refer this one to to a massive volume, no, of health-related data generated from various sources, including electronic health records, medical imaging records, genome sequencing, and the wearable na mga devices and health applications that we use. Now, combining all those data together, okay, so we could come up with a big data, no, overview, big data to be used, no, to as an overview about our well-being. So, predictive analytics utilizes this data to make informed predictions about patient outcomes, trends, no, in diseases, healthcare operations, and ultimately it provides, no, or it improves the quality of healthcare and its efficiency. Okay. Though there are many sources, no, of big data on healthcare. Okay, so when we say big data, we do not just use, no, source from one data, no, like we have a hospital system and then we use that one, but we combine many different sources of data to parang to increase, no, our database and improve our accuracy. Okay, so one primary source, no, actually of big data is using the electronic health records or EHRs. Now, these are comprehensive digital records of patient history, diagnosis, treatments, and patient outcomes. No, usually these systems are being used in hospitals, OPDs, and clinics. The next one, okay, we could combine, no, electronic health record with medical imaging na record, no, like those we use in X-ray, MRI, CT scans, and other imaging modalities. Another one is the genome data. No, these are sequences of DNA and other genetic information extracted from a person, no, for personalized medicine. So another one, no, is the use of wearable devices. So we extract, or the system extracts data from wearable devices, just like real-time na mga ECG, real-time na temperature, and many more, no, into and then uploaded it on a cloud server. Another source of big data are health applications that are installed on mobile devices. And the last one is the administrative data. So this data or administrative data are actually our billing records, our patient surveys, and other na mga administrative na mga databases that they have. Okay, so what are the applications pala of big data? No, so big data can be combined with artificial intelligence, no, to produce predictive analytics. Okay, so first is to prevent or to prevent diseases and early detection of diseases. Okay, the second one is personalized, or to create a personalized treatment plan to give, no, operational efficiency, like predicting patient admission rates and optimizing staffing and resource allocation on hospitals and clinics. No, since we have a data, so we could predict, no, at which time or date or period of the year, no, needs additional staff for certain outbreaks of diseases or recurring outbreaks of disease that are seasonal. Okay. We also use big data no in patient outcomes and readmissions no by identifying patients that are at high risk of readmission or having complications no thus implementing a preventive measures. Okay. And of course no big data can be used no to create a predictive analytics about population health management no to monitor and predict disease outbreaks and trends within the population. A more advanced feature of healthcare informatics is the use of virtual reality and augmented reality for healthcare training. Okay, so uh, virtual reality no can and augmented reality are emerging technologies that are having a very significant application in healthcare training. So these technologies provide immersive and interactive environments for doing medical operations, no, thus enhancing the learning experiences of the staff or medical practitioners and improving or improves their skills over time. No, without uh, having to parang uh, without having to expend no monetary resources no to just to provide this training. Okay, so VR VR can be used in healthcare training no and then it is used no in doing simulation training. So when we say simulation training, these are like rehearsals no to rehearsals or training in operations before doing the actual operation. Okay, so VR is also used no in anatomy education no without having to dissect body parts. So you could use virtual reality and augmented reality to do this no easily. Okay. So another one is the patient interaction simulation. No, when you could simulate different scenarios using VR. No, like patient interaction, helping medical professionals improve their communication and like bedside manners. Another purpose of the use of VR in healthcare training is for continuing medical education. So VR provides a platform for continuous skills development and education in for healthcare professionals. So this gives them edge no by keeping them updated with the latest medical techniques and knowledge. A a counterpart of virtual reality is what we call the augmented reality or AR. So just like the VR, AR are also widely used no in healthcare trainings. The primary use no, of AR in healthcare training is to provide an enhanced visualization. So AR can overlay no, digital information onto a physical world by means of, for example, by using specialized glasses. No, you can see the actual patient, and then you could overlay images no, on that actual patient. No? For example, uh, the use of AR no is widely used no for guiding medical practitioners no in medical procedures such as for example showing the veins no of a patient during injection. So uh, by actually seeing the actual hand no, of the patient or the arm, you could use a specialized glasses no to project an augmented reality on that arm that displays no or shows no where the veins are located no during injection procedures. Okay. So AR are also used no as interactive learning tool. No, AR brings textbooks to life no by adding interactive 3D experience, no models and animations that could help students understand the more complex na mga concepts or medical procedures that could be very difficult no for a text lang no to explain to the students. AR are also used no by in remote collaborations and trainings. Experienced surgeons can use AR to mentor and guide less experienced na mga surgeons remotely, overlaying their instruction and annotations no into the surgical field. And ARs are also used no to in augmented na mga patient simulations, enhanced na mga mannequins no can are used no to simulate real life patient na mga conditions more accurately, that provides more realistic no na approach in doing a parang in doing a wide range of medical scenarios no using AR. For example, doing routine checkups and rare to complex na mga cases. So AR could help medical practitioners. Okay. Another trend in healthcare informatics is the use of robotics and automation in delivering patient health care. There are many applications of robotics and automations in healthcare. So one is the use of surgical robots no, in doing surgeries. Now, surgical robots such as the most famous na Da Vinci surgical system allows for delivery of minimally invasive procedure no, with very high precision. Now, surgeons can operate through tiny incisions with enhanced dexterity and control. So another use of robots are for rehabilitation. No, wearable robotic na exoskeletons no can actually help no in assist patients with mobility impairments, or so those patients that has difficulty in moving. Okay, helping them regain movement and strength through guided na mga exercises. So those are the uses of rehabilitation robots. Another are assistive na mga robots. So these robots assist in tasks no such as lifting and transferring patients, reducing the physical strain no of doing this task on healthcare workers, and also improves no in patient safety. Another are uh, robotic diagnostics. So these robots assist in imaging procedures and doing biopsies by precisely positioning instruments and reducing patient discomfort. So there are many application of automation no, just like robots, automation are being used in healthcare. So for example, in administrative na mga automation, automated systems can handle scheduling, appointment reminders and follow-ups no, thereby improving the efficiency and reducing no the patients na mga no-shows no. Another are the use of automation in pharmacy automation. Okay, so robots could be used no in pharmacies to manage the dispensing of medications, ensuring accuracy and reducing wait times no for the patients. So the benefits of robotics though in automation healthcare are increased precision and accuracy, improved efficiency, enhanced patient safety, and it is also the use of robotics actually help no in cost savings of a healthcare institution. Okay, so the use of robotics actually or also uh, provides no access to healthcare to areas which are or remote areas no that are far reached by medical professionals no. For example, the use of robotics in a battlefield no, when there are wounded soldiers doesn't need to be evacuated to a hospital no to be para to save their to save their lives, but uh, healthcare professional or doctors from a different part of the world can actually do the actual operation no from one area, and then uh, while the actual operation is happening somewhere else no, by the use of robots. There is also a thing, no, that we call 3D printing in healthcare informatics. So 3D printing, or also known as additive manufacturing, is a revolutionary process, no, or technology in healthcare that enables the creation of three-dimensional objects from digital models. So in short, we could create actual objects, no, by printing them, no, from the design that we created on computers. So an example of 3D printing model is the customized, no, na mga implants and prosthetics. No, we use 3D printing for the creation of customized implants, no, tailored to a patient's na anatomy. Example, mga dental and orthopedic na mga implants, no, we could create them using a 3D printer, no, without with precision. Okay. So another use of these are the creation of prosthetic na mga limbs, no? Affordable and precisely fitted prosthetic limbs can be produced using 3D printers, significantly, no, improving the quality and life of amputees. Okay. So 3D printers can also be used, no, for surgical planning and simulations. It can also be used, no, for creating medical devices and instruments, no, like a 3D printer could create or produce, no, bespoke surgical na mga instruments designed for specific na mga procedures or needs of the patient. So there is also a thing, no, which we call the bioprinting and tissue engineering. Okay, so uh, bioprinted organs and tissues, no, involves the layer by layer deposition of living cell, no, 3D printed na mga living cells to create tissues, and even, no, it has the potential to create artificial na mga organs. Now, while this is still in very experimental na stage, this technology, no, provides or holds a very promising, no, future for healthcare informatics. So I guess this concludes my presentation about the current and future trends in healthcare informatics. So to conclude everything, no, the positive impact of information technology in healthcare cannot really be overstated. From enhancing patient care and safety to improving efficiency and enabling information solutions like telemedicine, IT continues, no, or information technology continues to revolutionize the healthcare industry. So by leveraging the power of technology, information technology, healthcare providers can deliver a more specialized, or personalized, efficient, accessible healthcare, ultimately leading to a better outcome for patients, no, around the world. As technology continues to evolve, its role in healthcare will only become more indispensable. So, healthcare informatics is not just for is not just a future, but actually it is beginning now, no. The benefits of healthcare informatics is very visible, and it's very life-changing talaga, no, to the patients. So, I guess that's all, no. Thank you very much for having the time to listen to this presentation, and I hope, no, you learned something new. And again, thank you very much for your time.